Perfect.
For everyone in here, hi. Thank you all for joining today. My name is Katie. I am SAI's digital marketing and social media coordinator. Today's theme is how to master study abroad and have a successful term abroad with different key tips from our alumni. Today we are joined by Izzy. She is a SAI ambassador and current SAI intern. Um,
Yes.
SAI ambassadors are a group of carefully selected students who have completed a SAI program in the past. Our ambassador program provides alumni the opportunity to share their own study abroad experience with prospective students while also building the knowledge of international education for themselves and their future careers. Izzy, can you
Yes.
share a little bit about yourself and the program that you participated in?
Of course. So, hi everyone. My name's Izzy Intreri. I studied abroad with SAI in my spring 2025 semester in Florence, Italy. And this was through Florence University of the Arts. And I am currently now, I just graduated 2 months ago, and I am now a SAI intern. And I'm so excited to just continue helping with SAI, but I also, one little thing I wanted to share, just something interesting about my time abroad. It completely changed my career path and it helped me to really grow and just grow my passion for international education.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. A little background for myself as well, since we just have one alumni in here. I am also a SCI alum. I also studied in Florence, but in spring 2017. So I can share a little bit more information as well, but it's gonna be I try to update my references
Yeah.
throughout everything. Okay, incredible. Well, feel free to all of our everyone who's joined. Feel free to send in any questions. We're going to answer them throughout, as well as some questions that have already been sent in. So we're going to start with a few rapid fire. Um, do you have, or what are your top three tips to make the most of your study abroad experience?
Okay, so definitely this is my number one. Keep an open mind when you are abroad and even before going into um, just while you're doing your pre-departure materials. Just make sure you keep an open mind because with meeting new people and all of these new experiences, you will want to put yourself out there and it might be scarier. You might be nervous at first, but I guarantee once you get there and you are in the same boat with most of the abroad students that you will meet, you can just also talk to your professors if you are a little bit nervous about going into it. You can also reach out beforehand to any size staff members, and also just really looking at your Ready, Set, Go pack. I mean, there's so many students studying abroad that most of them are in the same boat and
Mhm.
might relate to how you're feeling before you're going abroad. So, just even reaching out to those students too that are a part of the same program as you, um, it will really help with just keeping an open mind. And my second one is to not be afraid to say yes to all the different experiences that might arise when you do go abroad, because that will push you out of your comfort zone again, as I said before. Um, but just it'll make your abroad experience even more memorable. And I just recommend that you take every opportunity that you can to just say you want to. So SCI offers so many Viva experiences and different program
Mhm.
opportunities during your course abroad. I definitely, this is my second one, to I recommend joining as many as you can because those will help you create new
Mhm.
friendships, just experience the most amazing things you probably wouldn't even think of. I didn't even really know anything about marble before going abroad, and I went and signed up for a side day trip to the marble quarries, and
Uh-huh.
that was one of my favorite trips. And I had no clue it even existed beforehand. before going abroad, like a trip, a field trip like that
Yeah.
that you could go on. So, just that's how you will make new friends when you are
Mm-hmm.
abroad, especially if you are a little bit worried about going alone.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, there's so many friends you will make, and I guarantee, and just making a relationship with your professors and even asking them for recommendations for
Mm-hmm.
um, just places around your host city, those are also great ways to make your experience even more memorable.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. And also all those Viva experiences are free, so and they're included. So
Yes, and they
you might
are
as well.
included with, yeah,
Girl
they're
math.
included with your program. Yeah, so why not sign up with, yeah, sign up for as many as you can. But I also, my third thing, which I feel like I've said way more than three, balance travel with
Hmm.
staying present, because when you do go abroad, and even beforehand, I feel like when I saw students ahead of me that were already abroad, and they were traveling to so many different countries. But I mean, allow yourself to explore your host city as much as you can
Hmm.
too. I know it'll be really exciting to book if you are interested in traveling to other countries on the weekends or during breaks or anything. Um, but just make sure just to balance that, because I feel like when I went, I know going abroad, you might have, like, I had the urge to want to book trips with my roommates and new friends that I met along the way.
Hmm.
Um, and I kind of regret not staying more weekends while I was in Florence, because I mean, there's so much to explore there too.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
absolutely. I completely agree. Did you have any, or how did you manage any of your pre-departure nerves?
So I went into it with, I mean, I was obviously nervous and all my roommates were too,
Yeah,
but I went into it with a very open mind because I knew, I feel like going into it, you need to accept that you will be experiencing
something
different
new.
changes and
Yeah.
growth, but it will lead to growth, and it definitely, helped with even my confidence. And I mean, it completely
Hmm.
changed my career path now. So imagine, like, when I went into it, I knew also, I felt way more supported going into it, knowing that SAI had on-site staff, and all of the 360 services that SAI offers, um, even helping with finding roommates if I needed help, or if I wanted to talk to other students before actually getting there.
Yeah.
If I was able to talk to students on it was like a group chat, but it was with people you knew that were also going to the same
Hmm.
program as you. So I just felt way more reassured. Um, but it made it super easy with all the pre-departure emails. Just make sure you're checking the Ready, Set, Go pack, because that constant reassurance is what supported me when I arrived.
Those Ready Set Go packs are so informative, and I
Yes.
feel like some people just skim through them, and
Yeah.
there's so much in there that they should know. Okay. A lot of people think the biggest differences when it comes to schoolwork. So what was the biggest academic adjustment compared to your home university?
I would say, so my grades were very important abroad.
Hmm.
Those reflected back to, and they connected to my elective credits, but also towards my major. Um, However, I only had class twice a week, which was different than my
Yeah.
home university. But the coursework, I would say, was almost the same, if not maybe a little bit lighter. But professors are expecting you to be on top of your work,
Hmm.
and will remind you of assignments and quizzes and give deadlines and stuff like that. But I just feel like when I was abroad, it might have just been the classes that I was taking, but the presentation, it was
Hmm.
very presentation heavy with
Yeah, mine were a lot
projects.
of paper heavy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I think it just depends on the courses you choose when you go abroad. But um, I just feel like the teaching styles, it's smaller classrooms,
Mm-hmm.
the courses I had. But it was definitely, so one of my courses was I did, I did a 15-week program,
Mm-hmm.
and I did Florentine art walks for one of
I love
my
art
3-week
class.
course. That was my favorite course ever. And I met, it was 3 hours a day for 3 weeks straight, but then
Mm-hmm.
you were done with that course and then you moved
Mm-hmm.
on to your 11-week, well, I chose 4 courses total.
Sure.
So then I moved on to 11 week. But my Florentine Art Walks course, we met outside. We didn't really have a classroom. I mean, we met at a specific location before we would walk. But some of the class meetings we met right in the middle of the city. So it
Mm-hmm.
was amazing because I was never used to going and just meeting a classroom. I beforehand, obviously, with my university courses, we would meet in a lecture hall or a
Yeah.
classroom. But Florence, the city was my classroom, which that made it so much more memorable. And
Mm-hmm.
it made me really, really, it was just the adjustment compared to those found in my home university. I wanted to learn more. Like
Yeah.
it made me want to learn. Um, but I think it just depends on the course. But I think each class is just very unique.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. I had a food culture and society course that
yep,
was I feel like everyone takes it and it's the one of the
yeah,
best courses. But I didn't realize how field trip based it was going to be
I
until I
know
got there, and then I was like, oh, this is even better because now I'm like learning things from the factory that they actually make this olive oil at or whatever. um
exactly. And
so it's
even
very fun.
Yeah, and even with the day trips that you can take
Mm-hmm.
that are involved with um, the Sci Viva experiences, those trips you will learn so much.
Yeah.
Like when I went to, it was a leather making
Mm-hmm.
day trip. That was amazing too, and just because you don't even think about the types of experiences you will get out of going
Yep.
abroad, and then you have the opportunity to just take it. So I
Mm-hmm.
definitely recommend taking as many Viva experiences, and then even as I said before, professors or classmates will recommend specific locations you might want to visit or restaurants. I mean, there's so many
Yeah.
amazing um, just recommendations that you can get to.
Yeah, absolutely. Did anything surprise you about the local culture while you were like when you first got there, about as you were getting used to being in Italy for the first time?
So I would say, I think it was definitely different with the fashion.
Mm-hmm.
I, just dressing as I would for class, like at home in my home university.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like I would wear athletic clothes, but you kind of realize, and this might just be my host city, but I feel like a lot of places, it's definitely a different fashion style, and the culture obviously is different. So I just remember when I got there with my roommates the first week, we were wearing like athletic clothing, walking around
Mm-hmm.
and shopping and everything and getting
People were
groceries.
staring.
And people were staring. Yeah, exactly. And I I didn't really think anything of it at first, and then I was like, oh, like, and then I realized it was like, you know what? This is definitely a
I need to put
difference.
some jeans on.
Yeah, maybe I need to go
Yeah.
buy jeans. No, I have jeans, but yeah, just the difference in style with
Yeah.
the everyday wear. So a bunch of I think everyone kind of got the memo, and everyone in my classes and stuff, we all wore nice, I mean nice clothing
Mm-hmm.
for all of our classes. And also coming from um, the the US. I mean, everything is so fast paced here with
Hmm.
fast food, and you realize there's so many different like differences when you get to the restaurants there or just walking around. It's how much, so in Florence specifically, I what surprised me the most was how much the Italians value slowing down and enjoying everyday life and meals, and
Hmm.
meals aren't rushed, and it's very special, and they're meant to be social and not rushed. So I it's different from what I was used to with like
Yeah.
going through the drive-through at Chick-fil-A or like just
Hmm.
random little instances like that. But I just love how deeply the food is.
Even coffee, you just sit down and
Yes.
drink it, or drink it at the counter.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So just stuff like that. I mean, and then like I said before, there's just a huge emphasis on the fashion and style, but
Hmm.
I mean, that's really like most the biggest things that stood out to me when I first initially got there.
Sure. Um, one of the students, a student had submitted earlier that they're currently doing their best to learn as much of the language of their host city as they can. How much will they have to rely on their own language abilities abroad and in class? Did you have to learn too much Italian while you were studying abroad? I have a
So,
different unique case. I was an Italian minor, so
okay.
I was specifically taking Italian classes in Italian.
Oh yeah, that's amazing. Well, I have a little bit different experience, but I had taken two beginner courses in
Mhm.
Italian before. Well, actually, one course I took before, and then one course I took after I got back. So
Mhm.
I only have taken two beginner Italian courses, but um, going into abroad, don't stress about not being fluent in a specific
Mhm.
language um, before getting to your host city, because there will be, I mean, all of the courses that I took at FUA in Florence, all of the courses were taught in English.
Yep.
Um, Unless you are taking a specific language course,
Mhm.
that I feel like that's the only time in school that um it would be good to know
Yeah.
the language a little bit more. But I mean, like, I totally recommend trying to just learn beginner phrases and
Mhm.
like how to order a coffee, or just, I mean, make sure when you are greeting locals or like
They'll appreciate
look,
the effort of you
yes,
trying, but then they
yes.
usually click into the noticing the accent and go, okay, and then they'll switch over to
Yeah,
English,
exactly.
especially in
And
city center.
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
It's specifically in the city center. I mean, most of them I feel like also speak
Hmm.
English.
Hmm.
If you are in the residential areas, not as much, but definitely still a lot.
Hmm.
But even yeah, so they
Or
will
they'll
appreciate.
find a young person to translate for them.
Yes. And even I know, yeah, and even I know like past abroad students have even became friends with locals, and then the locals have like
Hmm.
helped them learn, and they help, I mean, they just get
Yeah.
taught Italian too. So it's just amazing how you never know what will come up when you are abroad, but they do appreciate like when you are
Hmm.
trying to order coffee or just little things like that. They get it that you are trying, so they know,
Yeah.
but they're there to help you. So,
Absolutely. Did you one another question from a student that submitted was a do you have any advice for getting over the initial hurdle and fear of being in a new country all on your own? They want to make the most of their experience and don't want their feelings of unfamiliarity to stop them from making the most of the time. So, just any advice of getting used to being in a new place on your own?
mhm.
I think we
So
did take us back to the Vivas of just getting to know people, you know?
exactly, yeah,
Yeah.
and definitely. So yeah, just one of the main things is, I know another student. She also had felt the same. Personally, I did go into it knowing a few of my roommates and everything, but I did meet so many more
Mm-hmm.
people along the way, even on the flight there, because there were groups of people at the airports and we were
You can
all,
tell.
yes, you know, like we're all ready to go abroad, and we'll be like, are you
A
flying
lot of
to
college looking people who look slightly scared and a little confused.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you just see like so many, I mean, you even on the plane ride, I was
Hmm.
sat next to this random student, and me and her, like, we talked the whole time.
Yeah.
She wasn't, I mean, she was a different connecting flight after that, but
Hmm.
then we had switched our we exchanged our phone numbers and everything, and
Hmm.
we ended up continuing to talk the whole time abroad, and now we're friends. So it's just crazy how
Wow.
little instances like that happen too.
Yeah.
Um, but also just make sure if you are going alone to connect, try to connect ahead of time if you do know your assigned roommates, or I mean not assigned, but if you do have
Hmm.
roommates. But also getting in touch with other people from the program, because
Hmm.
SAI has on the Ready Set Go pack a housing and roommate section, which is a great
Hmm.
resource to check out.
Yeah, absolutely. And on that same kind of topic, we get a lot of there were quite a few questions that were submitted as
Mhm.
well, about housing. So can you tell me a little bit about your housing and what it was like?
Yes. So, I know and Sci tries to make sure that all the student housing is within a
Hmm.
good distance of the course of your courses, your classrooms,
About
your
30 minutes.
school.
We
Yeah,
tried really hard
about
to make it there in 30 minutes.
yeah. And then, but your apartment assignment or wherever you do choose, I mean, it's spread out throughout the city. So we were a little bit farther from the city center,
Hmm.
but I honestly loved it because so it was five roommates, including
Hmm.
myself, and we all were on the more residential side, I would say, of Florence, but
Hmm.
it was five of us, and it was two of us in one room, and then three of us in the other room, and then we had a kitchen and living room, so and a little terrace out back. So it was an amazing apartment that we got assigned, but
Hmm.
um I don't know. It's just our landlord. I'm trying to think of other things about housing. Oh, our landlord was
Mine, mine was I lived with three other girls. So we had
yeah.
a two-bedroom. We each shared a room. We had
Hmm.
one bathroom, the little living room, and a kitchen. It was very basic, but it worked for us.
Hmm.
And it was in a really, really cool location. We leaned out our windows every night and just would
I
watch
was gonna
people walk
ask
by.
that. Yeah. Did you? Yeah. Did y'all go and were y'all like overlooking a specific area, or was it just
Mine,
on the
I
street?
truly, truly lucked out. My apartment was like about 3 blocks from the Duomo, so I could lean out
That's
my window and
amazing.
see the Duomo from there.
Yeah.
So I mean, because we were so central,
Hmm.
everyone in our surrounding little area spoke English. Everyone, because they're used to tourists being right there all the
Yes.
time.
Yep.
Um, and yeah, so it was very nice. It was in a local apartment. There were all locals around it. My the landlord was the guy who lived in the apartment directly next door.
Okay.
And he was renting it out because he was traveling for work so much. So then when we did get to see
Awesome.
him, he didn't really speak that much English. So it was really
Hmm.
fun for us to be able to go, oh, let me practice my Italian of what I've learned so far with you.
Yeah.
And
That
try and like communicate with you and see how you're doing.
Yeah. And that's a little bit how like ours went. So
Yeah.
our landlord, she did not speak any English at all. So we actually at one point she had to ask us questions at one point, but a SAI staff member was there with her
Hmm.
to help us translate because we seriously did not.
Yeah.
I wish I was fluent, but I'm not. But yeah, that was a funny moment. That was just it kind of bonded all of us because then we would try and speak to her more, and we would help her with like other things, like with helping to get. I remember at one point we were helping carry her suitcases. Like it was just fun. Like I loved it.
Yeah.
And her mom actually lived above us, and then um and then she lived above her mom. So it was like it
Oh,
was a
fun.
3-story
Yeah.
apartment, and then we had stairs. So it wasn't bad at all, and we
Yeah.
were on the second floor. So yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah. I love on in that same realm of housing, how
Mhm.
does laundry work and
Okay.
what hair tools can be used in each of the rooms?
Okay, so yeah, with laundry, so I feel like most of other students I talked to who didn't live with me, but my friends I met, their apartments also had this where
Mhm.
the washer dryer was
A
either
combo.
in one
Yeah.
or you only had a washer, and that's
Hmm.
very common.
Hmm.
And you will come to know that. And we had drying racks that were already in the apartment
Hmm.
for our clothing to hang, or you could put them on the line outside or on the
Hmm.
back of. If you had a balcony or terrace or anything, you could also hang it outside. But we got used to that really quick, and it
Hmm.
wasn't a very big change or anything. But we ended up just um, planning ahead with what outfits we would need to wear because
Hmm.
sometimes our jeans would take like 2 or 3 days to
Yeah.
dry. It just depended on the weather too. Because we were there and we got there in January.
Hmm.
So it was still really cold out, and half the time, I mean the weather with the cold weather wouldn't really help with drying the clothes as much, but
Yeah.
it did get done. So um it wasn't bad at all. Like that part was totally fine.
Yeah.
But some students with apartments do luck out and get washer and dryer. So it just depends on the apartment. But our apartment was so cute. We had um it was very, very like we had big open windows and we
Hmm.
were able to put our clothing out. So that was great too.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you need to bring your own laundry detergent? No, you can purchase it when you're there, so you don't have to worry about it.
Hmm.
And yeah, you do not have to worry about bringing it home with you, bringing it with you from home.
Yeah.
You can definitely purchase there. And then about any hair tools,
Oh, hair tools.
specifically, I would recommend not bringing your US tools unless you have the specific converter
Converter.
to be able to use it. It has to be a
Hmm.
converter, not an adapter,
Yeah.
to be able to do that. And that you just have to make sure you search for the right ones to have for. I know they make some specifically for like hair products.
Yeah.
Um,
Because
okay, yeah.
sorry,
Oh, you're fine. Go ahead.
with our housing and everything, we found that there were converters left from, I
Mm-hmm.
guess, the past students, which was great. And we had that in our bathroom and everything. But yeah, definitely don't try not, I mean, if you want to bring your own hair tools, I mean, like you're more than welcome to, but just
Yeah.
yeah, make sure you do have your converter with you. That is it's the European converter. But there's so many you can buy on
Yep.
Amazon. There's so many different um just like tools that you can buy with it too.
Mm-hmm.
So that will definitely help
My
as well.
roommates and I actually went in together and purchased a hair dryer while we were there,
Oh,
and
that's so
then
smart.
so we all spent like €5
Mhm.
and on it, and then we just shared the hair dryer throughout the entire time, and we found a I don't remember if we sold it back to the shop or if we gave it to the office, but we might have given it to the site office for another group to
Mhm.
use.
Oh,
But
that's
it was one of
great.
those things where we were like, we're going to be out $5. We'd rather have something that we know is going to work.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, and then on still on the housing topic, what about showers? Do you bring your own towels or what is provided for you when it comes to the shower?
So I ended up just wait, I mean, there for the showers, obviously, it just depends on the apartment, but
Mhm.
I ended up buying all of my stuff when I got there, and
Mhm.
they already had a shower curtain and everything. Like it's not like you're not going into it not furnished. It is
Mhm.
furnished, but um we ended up I think I might have brought a towel just in case in my
If you're picky about
suitcase.
your towel, bring your
Yeah,
towel.
it just
Like it's not a
depends.
big
Yeah.
deal.
And but when we got there, we actually ended up going to IKEA or somewhere. Yeah, I think it was IKEA.
Hmm.
Just some superstore like that, and we ended up buying just a bunch of cheap towels to use abroad. And you only need, I mean, because you have your washer and dryer, so and then we ended up going to a convenience store or any smaller um, just stores for every day,
Hmm.
like shampoo, conditioner, all that. And you don't have to, I mean, unless you have a specific hair product you must bring with you or you really want to bring,
Hmm.
you can put that in your check bag and bring it. Which I did with my conditioner and shampoo at first, and then I ran out. So then I got others. And it didn't matter, obviously, but I did like having my stuff, and then
Yeah,
I bought as I went.
absolutely.
So
What you're
yeah,
comfortable with to start with. Yeah, that makes sense.
exactly.
Um, yeah, I always just say if you have something specific that you want to use, bring it with you. If you don't, so be it.
Hmm.
Um, it's they have a Sephora, they have they have grocery stores with all of their products
Hmm.
that they carry as well. And there's a lot of overlap when it comes to like different project products as well. So you can definitely do that.
Yeah.
Um, okay, and then let's see. Another student asked, "Did you take any euros with you prior to arriving?"
I did. I did not actually. So there were a lot of ATMs spread out throughout the city in Florence, and I was
Mm-hmm.
able to also with that topic right now, just making sure that you
Mm-hmm.
before going abroad have either a debit or credit card
Mm-hmm.
with a non-transaction fee because or a no international transaction
Mm-hmm.
fee because that will really rack up your just the fees along with it. If you
Yeah.
can find, I think with us, I found there's I think it's a debit card company, but it's called Till. And
Mm-hmm.
then there is also, I used, if you go to Costco or you have a Costco membership, they also have
Mm-hmm.
a no international transaction fee credit card. But going back to the ATMs, I ended up just getting euros while I was there, and most of the ATMs didn't really have a huge transaction fee at all
Mm-hmm.
because I would recommend going to the ATMs that are connected to the banks.
Yep.
Don't just go to a random ATM
Mm-hmm.
on the street because I feel like those might have a way higher transaction fee.
Yeah. And a lot of places are built for like things like Apple Pay
Hmm.
and etc. So you're more than welcome to use that as well. I
Exactly.
personally, we'll be able to talk more about this in our budgeting Instagram live as well. But like I personally took out euros, so I had a physical amount of money that I could budget
That's
with for
smart.
the week.
Yeah.
So I did it that way. But it is also fully up to you.
Hmm.
Okay, what do you recommend packing that is not commonly thought of?
Um, that's not commonly thought of. Shoot. So I recommend honestly researching before, and this also can be with travel too, but researching just the weather before you get
Hmm.
there to make sure that you know I mean, if you don't need a bunch of winter clothes, don't bring the bulky items.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you're bringing maybe lighter clothes, and then you can always, when you
Mm-hmm.
get there, if you realize, oh, wait, I should have brought my big winter coat, you can always find one there when you do
Mm-hmm.
arrive. But I know, like, if you are wanting to save money and not have to buy clothes when you get there, um,
Sure.
I honestly would pack for all seasons just to prepare,
Just in
but just a
case.
little bit of each.
Yeah.
I mean, and then just make sure you're packing clothes that are be able to be layered. That could also
Mm-hmm.
help, because if you have a sweater and then maybe a tank top under or something like that, that could also help.
Yeah, absolutely. I always recommend bringing something like if you want to bring a blanket from home that
Hmm.
you like a throw blanket that you makes your room feel a little bit more homey to you, you can do that.
Hmm.
Otherwise, I here's one of don't pack it. I did not. I brought my big, huge professional digital camera. I didn't
Oh
use it at
yeah.
all. I used my
Yep.
phone for
Yep.
everything. So, um, that was just like a good 8 by 8 in my suitcase that I just didn't
Hmm.
use. So save yourself the hassle. But I know
Yeah.
there's a lot of smaller digital cameras out right now that you could easily use
Yeah.
if you want that. Um,
Oh, I have another
yeah,
thing.
yeah, go for it.
Definitely. I mean, if because this also helps with sometimes you might get homesick,
Hmm.
and I mean, it's just natural. You will miss your family and friends back home when you are abroad at some points. But make sure if you want to, you could also bring pictures or picture
Hmm.
frames, and then you can put that in your room when you are abroad, which that would be it would
Yeah,
also be fun to just decorate your room when you get there.
absolutely.
But
One of my old scholarship students, she um that we had in, I don't remember where she was studying, but she is Hispanic and brought a spice packet of the spice that her mom uses in like everything.
oh, that's
So she was like,
amazing.
I have a container of all these spices that I could
Hmm.
use to like make food or tea or whatever that reminded her from home.
That's
Um,
perfect.
so when she was feeling really down, she could make up some tacos really quickly because she knew how to make those.
Oh, I love that.
That kind of
That's
thing.
awesome.
Um, okay, along the lines of packing, do you have any recommendations for a travel bag for airlines with bag size restrictions?
So, definitely. So
Please look
almost,
up the
yeah.
sizes.
Yes. Yeah, definitely Amazon
Mhm.
was my best friend looking for all the stuff I needed for going abroad and traveling and everything. Especially with backpacks because
Mhm.
they will have a lot of travel friendly, just
Mhm.
all of those that are within the requirements for what bag size you need when you are traveling if you are on the
Mhm.
weekends. Um, I know my backpack is from Amazon. Even if
Mhm.
you just type in um, airport airport friendly
Mhm.
travel personal item or carry on, it'll tell
Yeah.
you. But that's what we used every trip, every weekend. On the weekends that we did go and travel, we had just a carry on or just a personal item, and that was our backpack. So
Yeah.
definitely, I recommend getting one that has even the shoe compartment. That
Yes.
was so helpful, and I didn't even think I would use it that much, but I used it so much. So
I
definitely.
um in April just went to Europe, and so I got new suitcases for it. Bag Smart. I don't remember. I don't know how to pronounce it, but
Yeah,
that's what the
yeah, that's
company
the
that I
exact
used.
one I have. Yeah.
Yeah, they I got a backpack and a carry-on from them. They will mark down, and also when you're doing your research on bags, double check and see if it does give most of these companies will actually give you like works on all the list of all the airlines
Yeah.
that their products work on. So you can definitely do that. Um, I was just upgrading my own personal luggage. I don't go to Europe all that often,
Hmm.
but I wanted to make sure I could have luggage that worked for it if I wanted to go.
Yeah, exactly.
um, when you went away for the weekends or for travel, did you take more flights or trains? And then do trains have size requirements? I'm going to be, by the way, working on a lot of train travel informational content coming soon. So
Awesome.
I'll be able to cover all of that as well.
Hmm.
But I mean, I would the last time I took the train, it was mostly, I just used what I used for planes
Hmm.
for it and it
So
worked.
yeah, that's exactly what we did too. When I was traveling, even with my suitcases on trains,
Mm-hmm.
there's a little compartment area where you are able to put your suitcase on the
Yep.
trains as well. So they're like they're prepared for people to bring suitcases. I mean, you don't have to worry about that. But um, when I went on away on weekends, I it was honestly a mix. It was usually flights, and then we did take trains, or if it were
Mm-hmm.
day trips, it was always a train or a bus.
Mm-hmm.
But flights just really depend on the location you are going, especially if you could find a bus that is cheaper than a plane. I mean, it really just depends, but we ended up it was so I'm trying to think. It was a Velo or not a Velo, that's here. It was Vueling,
Mm-hmm.
Ryanair, and there was one more airline that we used, but those three were our main airlines that we traveled with on the weekends. And then is it difficult to make friends if you are going by
Mm-hmm.
yourself? I would say no. I don't think it would be, I mean, obviously going into it, I personally didn't go into it alone. I didn't travel by myself, but my roommates even did solo travel on the weekends, and there were so many helpful people
Yeah.
around that would just want to help you. And you have the SAI staff there as well for on-site support. They will
Mm-hmm.
also help you with advice or just in general with any question you might have.
Yeah, and everyone kind of bands together because they're all in the same boat.
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
went alone and all of my roommates went alone, and so we just kind of also all banded together because we're like, you know what, we all live together, might as well hang out together as
Yeah.
well. And then we also all did things with different people at different times as well. I know all of my entire roommates, we all went on the same spring break trip, but it was with a bunch of other people. And
Hmm.
I think I really only hung out with them at dinner if we all had dinner plans. My roommates specifically, I ended up hanging out most of my spring break trip with other people.
Awesome.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's very easy, and everyone kind of is in the same
Hmm.
boat, so they're all flowing at the same time.
Yeah.
Of besides the Marble Viva that you said earlier, what were some of your favorite Viva activities that you participated in?
I think one of them had to have been um, it was a wine tasting Viva experience or activity, and I'm trying to think of other ones we did. There was pizza making, there was
Mm-hmm.
book leaf, gold leaf making, leather making. There were a
Mm-hmm.
lot of different ones to choose from, but just sign up for as many as you can, and you won't regret it because any new experience is a great opportunity. And I also recommend the opera night. That was amazing. That was in Florence specifically. But yeah. Um, and
We do
then,
operate a
oh,
lot of them. Yeah. When is
yeah,
spring break? Spring break, it depends on the program, but for the most part, between February and March.
yeah,
So yeah, truly depends on the program and how long you're studying.
yeah.
um, and then let's see before we really end if there's any others. Um, do you have any advice that you wish you received before heading abroad?
So I I kind of wish that I made sure I had a lot of storage on my phone and computer for backing
Oh,
up
that's very good.
photos, but make sure you are consistently backing up your photos if you are taking a lot
Mm-hmm.
of photos and videos. Um, I wish I also took a lot more videos of just everyday life or
Mm,
just around me, just like to look back on for memories and to be able to write down in my own journal. And that is another thing I regret not doing is making sure I kept a log or just journal, even on my computer, of stuff I did every single day. And it doesn't have to be every day, but like every week or however long you are there, make sure you are just making sure you write down your memories and your favorite things from that day because you'll look back and you'll love that you'll love that you remember all of those things. And I regret not doing that because half of the stuff I feel like is a blur now, which is so
mm-hmm.
sad to say, but this is so cliche, but people aren't kidding when they say that your study abroad experience flies by. So it'll be midterms before, if you are doing a semester, because well, I did, but it'll be midterms before you can even blink,
Yeah.
and you just want to take advantage of every second you are abroad because this also is cliche, but it is a once in a lifetime opportunity and experience for you.
Yeah. Mine, I will say, explore your home host city as much as you can. I
Hmm.
realized, I'm not kidding you about this. I realized I had not gone to any of the museums in Florence
Yep.
while I studied abroad until about
Yeah,
2 weeks before I was gone. And then I was jam
exactly.
packing all of them in there, to the point where when I mapped out how long it would take to get to go see the David, it was a 2-minute walk from my apartment, and I had no clue that I'd been walking
Yeah.
past it that entire time. Um,
Yeah,
so please explore your hometown and be able to take some time to explore it and learn more about it as well. If you have
exactly.
any other questions for the people that are in here, feel free to submit them in the comments and we'll be able to answer them while we're wrapping up. Sarah also said, did you use a phone plan or an eSIM?
I used a phone plan, and that also is one thing which you'll see on the Ready Set Go pack. There
Mm-hmm.
is a section for that too, but I made sure that I contacted my so I have AT&T, and T, and so I
Mm-hmm.
made sure I contacted them and they helped me get the best phone plan. I think gave me a student deal
Yeah.
somehow, but that is one of the biggest things too for an international phone plan. I did not have an eSIM, but there on the Ready Set Go pack there is information
Yeah.
about that.
I used the phone plan when I studied abroad as well, but I kept my phone on airplane mode until I
Smart.
was, and used only Wi-Fi while I
Mhm.
was in Italy to
Mhm.
not utilize that. And then when I was traveling, if I needed it, I would take my phone off of airplane mode to be able to contact people. It
That's
was
smart.
mostly, sending a text to dad saying, "Hey, I made it to this country. I'm
Yeah.
good. We're checked in."
Yeah. I
That
feel
kind
like
of thing.
by the end of abroad, I was barely talking to my family. Like they were texting me. Like I was still texting them, but not as much as when I first got there because I was just go 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 and
Mm-hmm.
wanting to just take advantage of every moment. But also what I was going to say with with what I just didn't realize that there are so many recommendation documents that past or previous students that go abroad they
Yep.
will create, and they love helping, and so many ambassadors of SAI and alum
Mm-hmm.
um, like alumni, they will love to give their recommendations for specific locations or places you might want to travel to, or specific restaurants in your host city. There's so many different documents that they create, and so
Got a bunch of
just make sure, yeah, make sure.
them.
I mean, you honestly like. I have one and I'm willing to share that with, but there's so many different, even people at your own school, and you might hear of like maybe your older sister studied abroad and her friends have a recommendation doc. I feel like it gets sent around to a lot of different students and schools in general. So it's all like,
Yeah.
even your friend might have one. So it doesn't hurt to ask and just reach out to past students who studied abroad as well for more advice.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with you there. Cool. Well, do we have any other questions from anyone in here or if so, if we're not able to get to your questions, we can definitely send them. You can always DM us you can DM us here on Instagram, put it up in the stories, however you choose. I do have another question box up there, and we will be able to answer that. I'll either have Izzy send over an answer for you, I'll be able to answer it for you, or we can also answer it with Shelby in this afternoon session. So I think that's it. So thank you guys all for joining today. Special thank you to Izzy,
Thank
who shared
you.
such incredible information. And then, of course, also our admissions team is always available to answer any of your questions. So please reach out to them anytime as well. Awesome.
Yes.
Our next live on the same topic of just kind of everything is going to be this afternoon, 3 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Central. So please join in there as well. If you think about some other questions between now and then, we'll be able to answer those as well, as I will try and send them over to you on DM if need be.
Also, yeah, and
Yeah.
also make sure if any of you have questions specifically for me,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe if you are studying abroad in Florence, because that's where I studied abroad, but or even if you would like the recommendation document that I
Yeah.
have, anything like that in general, you can DM me on
Mm-hmm.
Instagram, or and then I can send you my email or anything like that. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
We will put you in touch with an ambassador that works for you.
exactly.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Izzy, and I will see everyone this afternoon.
Thank you. Thank you,
Bye.
everyone.